Hey there, good morning. As mentioned, I was going to create a second video here for you in hopes that I can help you walk through the mini practice set. So we had kind of gotten started right at the end of the first video, and so here I'm going to begin starting the second video, and I'm actually just going to start from the beginning again, so that way if you need some clarification where we were, and it just makes it easier on my end too. So don't mind my bedhead. I just came back from a little morning run. I'm not too winded, so we'll try to get some of this in. This video might be kind of long. I'm just going to go as if I was in class and just start teaching this content, and when we get through the sentences, I'll stop it. I'll upload it to YouTube. You can scrub around to the different ones that you might be struggling with. But you will see that I'm going to do one at a time. So that way you can't just go to the end of the video and pause and see all the sentences. You'll just be able to see one at a time. And that's for your purpose. All right? So take your time, go through this. It's not like we got a lot of other things to do. So yeah, go ahead and take your time going through this and let's get started. So here we go. We're going to take a look at this first source document here, memo number 1. We're going to try to do these in date order, chronological order, and we take a look, and it's Fast Track Tutoring, all right, and located in the great city of Austin, Texas. It looks like our owner here, Jennifer, is investing $25,000 of her own money to get her business started. So as I mentioned, I'm just going to flip over here to the sentences I'm writing, and I've got that first sentence written here right there for you. And it shows that on the first, Jennifer invests $25,000 in the business, and I listed the source document. So I know that we had already completed that first document, and so we're getting ready to move on to the second one. So we're going to go ahead and do that second one right now. And so let's go ahead and scroll back to those source documents. Bear with me a little bit. My setup's not quite the same as it was when I was at school. So here's our second one. I don't know if I can highlight these so you know which one I'm working on. It doesn't look like it. So just I'll use my mouse and I'll kind of circle around. And I don't have my pointing tool with me as well either. So we're looking at December the 2nd. It looks like we bought something, some office supplies. We wrote a check. The check was you know what? I'm ahead of you. Let's start that over. So here this is where we're at right here. Check 101. So again, I mentioned the importance of trying to go in check order. That's why I was confusing myself. Here we are at 101 on the date of December 2nd. We're buying something valued at $525. It looks like in the memo line we've bought a cash register, and we're paying cash, so we're writing a check for it. So the way I see this sentence being written is I think that on December the 2nd, again, you want to list the date. So on December the 2nd, Jennifer purchased a cash register. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this right here. On December 2nd, bought a cash register, and we're going to list that as office equipment. All right, so I'm even telling you what account to list it as. That's perfectly fine by me. It's listed as office equipment. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to hit enter. We're going to go to number 3, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to white these out so you can't see them. All right, because again, I don't want you going to the end of the document and just pausing it and writing it down. All right, so let's go ahead and head over to the next source document. And the next source document looks to be check 102. All right, paying to Office Depot, $73 for office supplies. All right, that's simple. So you might find yourself thinking, okay, well, I wrote a check number 102 for office supplies in the amounts of $73. So I'm going to write a sentence that looks like this. On December 2nd, Jennifer purchased $73 in office supplies, check 102. Again, just bounce back and forth between your source documents and the sentences that I'm writing. Okay? All right. Let's move on over to the next one. and take a look at this source document, it looks like we have check 103. Oh, big check here, $13,924. She bought some computers. Makes sense. Being a tutor, she probably has a small lab available. She also runs some classes. The check was written on December the 5th, and it was written to Best Buy. So we're going to write a sentence for this one. I'm going to go ahead and white out this temporarily. You don't need that one anymore. You should have that one down. Let's move over to number 4. And on December the 5th, purchased instructional computers and I wrote a sentence that looks like this. On December the 5th, purchased instructional computers for $13,924 by writing check number 103. All right. Now, as we're going through this, I still want you to complete the debit and credit part and the accounts as well, so we know what accounts are going to be affected here. Okay? And that's what you're going to turn in, is it's going to be that table. So in this case, you know that you've got instructional computers. Your computers are going to be an asset, and they're going to increase. And then we have cash and bank as an asset. It's going to decrease. Again, be sure to include that information. Okay? All right, let's move over to our next sentence or our next source document. I think we're going to scroll back up here to the top. Yeah, it looks like on December the 5th, $950 received. So we got a receipt here. All right, so we gave somebody a receipt as proof that they paid $950 for private instruction. All right, so this is going to be revenue for us. So looking at that a little bit closer, we're going to write a sentence that's going to indicate that we received $950 for instruction. Let me go ahead and get that content and get that sentence written in here. Sorry, I got to switch back and forth between my two computer screens. So again, on December the 5th, we received $950 for private instruction, receipt number 1. You can find that invoice or that source document number right up there at the top. So again, you should have those written in. I'll white those out. Don't need to see those right now. We're going to move on to our next transaction. And it's going to be an invoice. We got an invoice, invoice number 395 from Educational Software Company. They're sending us a bill for some software that we purchased. Yeah, we bought it on account. So we want to remember to use that word when you buy something and you agree to pay for it later. So I'm going to say on December the 6th, okay, we see the date being the 6th, we bought $8,494 worth of instructional materials from Educational Software on account. So my sentence is going to look something along these lines. Again, on December the 6th, bought $8,494 of instructional materials, invoice $395 from Educational Software. Please be sure to use that word on account. Okay. Let's take a look at the next source document. It looks like we sent an invoice or a bill to Carla Desario for 2 group classes valued at $18 a piece for a total of $36. We sent her an invoice, so she owes us some money. We're going to consider that accounts receivable to Carla. Again, if you use your chart of accounts that I provided for you on the Google Classroom page, you'll see where each of the accounts are in there, and you don't have to guess which account to use. So we'll go ahead and write a sentence for that one right here. That date was December the 8th. If you didn't catch that on that source document, we billed Carla Desario $36 for the 2 group classes, and I list the source document as invoice 101. Okay, so I'll go ahead and white those out. We'll hide those from you. You probably hate me by now for that, but let's take a look at our next source document. All right, the bottom of our first page, all right, it looks like we wrote a check for rent. You can see that in the memo, check number 104, rent's $850, and it looks like we pay it to a company called Carlo Property Realty. So if we were to write a sentence, all right, for something like that, we're just going to say we wrote a check for the rent of the month of December. So on December the 9th, we wrote check 104 for $850 to pay the rent for December. All right, halfway through these source documents, moving right along. Let's go ahead and go to the next page. We're going to be looking at this one here in the top left corner. It's an invoice. It looks like we billed George McGarty $275. It looks like he had 5 special group classes, maybe some ACT prep or something along those lines, which totaled $275. This occurred on the 10th. So a sentence that's going to read something like, on December 10th, George McGarty was billed $275. Be sure to list the source document. And if there's any importance whatsoever in regarding this date, this happens to be Grace's birthday. Happy birthday to Grace, December the 10th, 2002. All right. One of my favorite days ever. So, again, going back to the document on December 10th, billed George McGarty $275 for special group classes, invoice 102. All right.
Error 5. Steamers and side wheels to clean. Then press clean to restart. Please open the iRobot Home app for help.
Not sure if you hear that or not, but that's my my Roomba. Her name's Rosie, and she's stuck right now, and she's asking for help, and I'm busy. Okay, so let's move on to the next source document. Okay, so we're going to look at an invoice also on December the 10th, 5495, for some office use that we bought on account from TNN School Equipment. All right, so it looks like on December the 10th we received an invoice for $2,735 in microcomputer systems bought on account. So $2,735. So if you haven't written a sentence, or if you're trying to write a sentence for this exercise, or number 10, I have on December the 10th, we received an invoice for $2,735 from Microcomputer Systems for office use, bought on account from T&N School Equipment. All right, moving on to the next exercise, or the next source document. This is going to be a source document right here. And what we see is on December the 11th, we prepared a receipt. The receipt was for $695 for what was 20 private lessons that we gave between 3:1 and 3:10 to a handful of different customers. So, to write a sentence along those lines, I'm going to write, on December the 11th, we prepared a receipt. The receipt was source document number 2. and that was for $695 for the 20 private lessons that we gave between December 1st and December the 10th. All right, go ahead and get that information. Pause if you need to. I'm going to white these out. We're going to move on to our next source document. And that's going to be another receipt on December the 13th. All right, this is some money received from Carla Desario, and you can probably figure that out. Okay, that's from Carla for earlier. I think we had Carla back on the 8th. Yeah, we billed her back on the 8th of December, and now she's paying us, which is very nice and thoughtful of her. That's how we stay in business. So we're going to say we received that. Again, that's going to be cash in bank is going to increase, and our accounts receivable account is going to decrease. Again, I want you to be writing those into that worksheet as well, not just the sentences. So on December the 13th, we received $36 from Carla Desario on account. The source document was receipt number 3. Oops. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at our next source document. I'm going to go back up here to the right, I believe. Yep, right up here, top right corner. On December the 14th, it looks like we sent a check, or we wrote a check for $200 to Educational Software. It looks like we're starting to pay them back from the transaction that occurred on December the 6th. If you remember the 6th, we bought $8,494 worth. So this is just a little dent in it, but we are beginning to pay them back. So on December the 14th, we sent a check number 105 for $200 to Educational Software to pay them off, or to start a payment off on account. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take these and get those out of sight. All right, our next source document comes in with transaction, looks like on the 15th of December, and we wrote check number 106. We wrote it for $750, and you can tell here in the memo that we're having the office painted, or we're having some painting done. This is going to be a miscellaneous expense, okay? So we'll go ahead and tell a little story that her classrooms were the vintage 1970 puke green, and she decided to up it into the more modern grayscale that we're seeing everywhere. So she had some classrooms repainted. I could use my classroom repainted. If any of you are looking for a summer job that doesn't pay, I think I can help you out. All right, so I wrote something like this. On December the 15th, we wrote a check number 106 for $750 to repaint 2 classrooms. Again, if your sentences are exactly like mine, I don't care. It means I know you're following the video, and that's perfectly cool. That's why it's here. If there's something a little bit different, or you make it your own little twist on it, I'm okay as long as we get the idea of what's going on here. All right, so let's take a look at the next source document. It occurs on the 18th of December. Again, it looks like we're writing a check, so we're just spending some money left and right. But we can have some fun with this one. We see it's for $500, and why? We have a personal withdrawal. We know what Jennifer's doing. It's getting close to Christmas. She's lonely. She's probably paying somebody to come to a family gathering for her. All right? So she's taking it out for personal use. This is a withdrawal. Remember withdrawals? All right. We certainly remember our story of Maria and her trusty friend Slevin. So on December the 18th, Jennifer withdrew $500 for personal use check 107. If we want to keep it PG, she was withdrawing money to buy Christmas gifts for her nieces and nephews. Okay. Next exercise or next transaction is going to happen on the 20th. All right. And it's going to be another check for check 108 for $183, and she's paying the electric bill. It's part of the utilities, part of running a business. This is an expense. All right. So an expense like this is going to be written something like this: on December the 20th, sent a bill of $183 to pay the utilities. Get rid of these. So on December 20th, sent check for the electric bill of $183. We have one more source document to take a look at, and we're going to have wrapped up the source documents. All right, so on the 24th, Christmas Eve. Who writes a check on Christmas Eve? Well, we know what's going on here. Last minute getting the gifts out, right? So she wrote a check, $45. The memo says stamps, so she's paying some postage. We're going to consider this miscellaneous expense. All right, so let's go ahead and put this into that category or that account, miscellaneous expense, for $45. The last sentence we're going to write is going to look like this. Let me get that over here to the other screen. On December 24th, issued check 109 for $45 for stamps and miscellaneous expense. All right, so that's the end of this. That completes your assignment for today. Again, I want this uploaded by Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. so I can take a quick look at it. I want to make sure that it's correct before you move on. I'm going to go over that quite a bit. I just can't let you keep moving on if we don't have this done. So, again, very simple. Follow the video, get this work completed, and you'll be good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the Google Classroom, or even, I don't know if you'll be able to comment in YouTube. I think I made this one unlisted, so I don't know if you'll have that capability or not. Regardless, you know how to get a hold of me if you have questions, all right? Hope you guys are doing well. We'll do a face-to-face again sometime, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and complete this exercise, and we'll have some more work up there for you on Friday, all right? Take care. Have a good one.